10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Live from New York. It's Thursday night. Woo! Hello, my friends. And thank you so much for coming to spend part of your Thursday, December 28th with me. I don't know where December went, but it's over. It's almost over. And I don't know where 2023 went either, but that is almost over too. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I feel like we kind of got gypped like 2 years. I think like 2020, March 2020 to March 2022 was kind of a ripoff. It's almost like it kind of didn't really happen. And it's almost like it shouldn't even really count. It shouldn't even really count. So whatever age you were going to turn in 2020, I say you get to turn that age again this year. I don't really think it really counted. What say you, my friends? What say you? I have this amazing cup here that says, "What say you?" that my amazing mods got me for Christmas. I don't know if you could see it, but it says, "What say you?" Because I say that to you all the time because I want to know what you think. It's not only about what I think around here. It's what you guys think about too. Yes, it kind of was a crap year. It's been kind of a crap year for kind of like 3 years. So I'm going to chit chat for a couple minutes. So for those of you who are on the replay that tell me that I should just get straight to the point, the reason that I like to chit chat is, number one, I love my live viewers so much, and my mods are the best on YouTube, but also because the notifications on YouTube are glitchy, and so many people like to get in here live and chit chat with each other. So we just like to wait a few minutes. If you're on replay and you don't like the chit chat, just fast forward to the meat of the issue. Such a crazy week this week. I have a sleepover tonight with 5 teenage girls downstairs who are having a Gypsy Rose release party. So I thought that we would have a Gypsy Rose release party too. We do love to chit chat, don't we? Keep up the chatter. Oh, that's a great. Did you just change your name just for me? Just because I just said that? I would love that. That's pretty awesome. Happy birthday, Elizabeth B. I don't know Elizabeth B, but happy birthday to you. Shout out for you. Scott Messerschmidt, it's been a while. How are you? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We can't say Happy New Year yet. And for those of you who know Larry David was the creator of Seinfeld and also has a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I highly recommend. It's on, I'm not sure what channel. I don't know. I want to say HBO, which is now called Max. Why does everybody have to keep changing their names, by the way? Twitter is Twitter. I don't care. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm calling it Twitter. HBO is still HBO. You can call it Max, but it's still HBO. In any event, there is a very funny Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry starts getting really annoyed when people are saying Happy New Year to him. He's like, there's a statute of limitations on Happy New Year. You're not allowed to say Happy New Year for 3 weeks after New Year. And he gets really angry, and it's really kind of funny. Every episode of Curb is almost just like things that Larry is annoyed by. And those who relate can relate. Sometimes I come on here because I'm so annoyed at something that I need you guys to tell me that I'm not crazy and I'm not in the Twilight Zone. And we do that together all the time. I have a couple of those things for you tonight because there's a couple stories I have for you tonight that are just, you can't make this up. You can't even make this stuff up. Truth is stranger than fiction. And in some, you can't see my whole earring. Oh, see, there it is. This one has like an earpiece, with a cord. So, it's like I'm in the CIA or something with my earpiece, Secret Service. But there you go, if you'd like to see. Zara, $20. $20. I think they're on sale. My blouse is Zara too. People always say, where do you buy your blouses? Zara. I think they should sponsor me because they are amazing. Yes, it's a chain. You can buy them anywhere in the country. Somebody said, is that the Zara in Denver? I'm like, no, they're everywhere. Zara. I think it's a European brand. They're everywhere. They're awesome. You got to get stuff right away though when it comes online because it sells out fast. And it's very, very reasonably priced. Very reasonably. It's almost cheaper than Target sometimes. We don't have Walmart. Somebody said they need to stop changing the changing the aisles in Walmart. We don't really have Walmart here. We have Target. We have, what happened to Kmart? That's not even around anymore. We have Costco, Target. But there's really no Walmart around here. Kirsten, you just had back surgery, right? Or is it the other Kirsten? One of the Kirstens had back surgery. And Kirsten, if that's you, I hope you're feeling better. It has been rough, right? Thank you, Green-Eyed Southern Gal. I'm not crazy, am I? I hope I'm not crazy, because if I'm crazy, you're all coming on the crazy train. We are all going on the crazy train. Hi, Wendy. Wendy's one of my amazing mods. As I said, best mods on YouTube. Hello, Joel. Welcome. Amen to healing for everyone. It's been a rough go, you guys. It's been rough since 2020. And so many people have not recovered. And so many people have not recovered, not only emotionally, but financially, job-wise. This show is always about the kids. And I have 5 of my own. And the kids are never going to recover from what happened, especially here in New York. My kids were out of school for years, for years. And so many other states had their kids in school. We didn't. Our kids were just sort of sent off on a raft and told to teach themselves. They were given a whole list of things, assignments on a Monday that were due the following Monday, and they just had to teach themselves, basically. The teachers went to Fire Island in March of 2020, and no one heard from them again. Come for me in the comments. Come for me in the comments. Oh, here. Thank you to Amanda. My son's girlfriend, Amanda, gave me this for Christmas. Can you read it? How awesome is that? How awesome is that? Come for me in the comments. Come for me. I also have mugs. Somebody was asking about the merch. Mugs, shirts, come for me in the comments. Somebody who's in the chat before the stream started said, how long is it taking to get the merch? Right now, I don't print the merch myself, you guys, all right? I do not print it. I do not have a t-shirt printer. It's a third-party vendor, Spreadshop. They print everything to order, and they have a lot of backlogs right now during Christmas. I would advise you, because they have really good sales sometimes. So you'll always see at the top of my shop, it'll tell you what code to use. A lot of times it's 25% off, free shipping. I would say, and I would really recommend this to you, wait like 2 weeks to order anything, because they are so backlogged right now on shipments that things are taking, it's not Amazon, you guys. It's printed to order. It takes 2 weeks to get a shirt or a mug. It's worth it. But I would say wait until the next sale. The next sale that's coming up will probably be 20% off or something. I'll post it when it comes up. Why pay full price if you don't have to? For anything, really. For anything. Anything, including a car. I actually, a Team Maya apron. I put one up. I put the team, thank you. Thank you, Patronus Glow. I did. I put up a Team Maya apron. It's on there. Just, you have to go to the whole store. It's on there. Also, I have another issue with the merch is that do not order. If you're going to order something like come for the comments that has black writing, don't order a dark colored item. It won't show up. I ordered myself like a maroon colored sweatshirt. I can't read it. So I tried to take all those colors down. But again, it's not my website. It's their website. So if you're going to order the Team Maya apron, actually that font is in pink, so it shows up on most colors. The black apron is really cute. I did put it up, so you will find it there. Just go to my shop. Yeah, see, Patronus, I listen. I listen to all of you. I listen to all of my little cupcakes. Yes, LB, we are going to watch that as well. We're going to watch that. I'm going to try to keep this stream a little more upbeat tonight, because we often deal with all of the tough topics and the sad things, and everybody's crying, and we're always mad and angry. And I thought tonight, it's Thursday Night Live. Maybe every Thursday we could do a little something where we talk about the funny stuff of the week, or things that are just a little lighter, things that I just can't believe that we can't make up. So that, you are welcome, Joanne. That's what we're going to do tonight. That is what we are going to do. I know, Dominique, I was watching a little bit. I was watching Tootie Ron while I was getting ready for this. I don't know if he's finished. I tried to schedule this a little bit later, so I don't know if he's done yet. But as I was in hair and makeup, I was watching, and he is not happy. He and Ed both are very, very mad about the Idaho house being torn down. They've already talked about it tonight. I'm going to show a little bit of video. I'm going to tell you what I think, but I didn't want to build a whole show around it, because I don't really want to rant tonight. I just want us to talk about stuff that's funny or fun, or, I mean, you might not think some of this stuff is funny that I have pulled up for you, but we're going to try and see the humor in it. Yes, you are my little cupcakes. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, come on, Granny. Get this out of the chat. Bye-bye. You're in timeout, and I did it myself. I didn't even have to wait for one of the mods to do it. Yeah, that is a good idea. Somebody already tried that before. Okay, he's done. All right, cool. No, Michelle, it's not true. Don't listen to it. Johnny Depp is alive and well. Somebody did this last time or 2 weeks ago, and I kind of fell for it. I don't remember when it was. And I put it up on the screen. I'm like, what? And then I'm looking for the breaking news, and I'm like, come on, enough already. Give me a break. Baba Booey. You can't Baba Booey me. All right, we're a couple minutes in, so let's go. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was released from prison today in Missouri. Some people in Missouri say Missouri. Some people in Missouri say Missouri. So whichever way I say it is apparently correct, as I've been told from people who actually are from Missouri or Missouri. Gypsy Rose Blanchard served 8.5 years of her 10-year sentence in Chillicothe. Okay, well, I'm not going to pronounce that one right. Hold on. Chillicothe Correctional Center. She was released at 3:30 in the morning this morning, which was in Missouri. I don't know what time zone they're in, but it was around the time, or not too much earlier than they started tearing down 1122 King Road in Idaho, which is the scene of the crime of the tragic death of the 4 University of Idaho students in Moscow, which we will get to later in the stream. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is now 32 years old. For those of you who are not familiar with her case, I did a stream on it in September when I learned that she was going to be released on parole. She served 85% of her 10-year sentence. She was convicted of the taking of her mother's life in conjunction with her ex-boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, who is now 34 and is still sitting in a Missouri prison. I don't think that he should be there either. I think that there are some issues that should have been raised in his trial, but I don't think were, with regard to capacity and things like that. But this stream is not about Nicholas Godejohn right now. It is about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Gypsy Rose's mother had Munchausen by proxy, and she made Gypsy Rose gravely ill. She made a Gypsy Rose stay in a wheelchair. She gave her all kinds of medication that caused all of her teeth to fall out. She had a full set of dentures. She lied to her about her age. She used it as a con to get Habitat for Humanity to build them a house, free trips to Disney, you name it. Dee Dee Blanchard did it. She was a con artist, and she tortured Gypsy Rose for her entire life. Gypsy Rose has served her time. She is now being released. Let's take a look at News Nation's reporting on this just a little bit earlier today.
Update to a story that captivated the country for years. Gypsy Rose Blanchard released from prison today after serving nearly 8 years of a 10-year prison sentence in connection to the death of her abusive mother. Blanchard admitted to persuading her then boyfriend to kill her mother, who for years convinced her daughter and the public that Gypsy Rose was seriously ill. Correspondent Laura Engel joins us live. And Laura, this is a case that, again, captivated people's attention. It spawned multiple television dramas, even a true crime documentary.
Did anyone watch the Hulu series The Act with Joey King and I think it was Rosanna Arquette, one of the Arquettes, Patricia Arquette? That was a dramatization of the Gypsy Rose story called The Act. It's like 8 episodes maybe on Hulu. It was really good. That's how my teenage kids know about the Gypsy Rose story. And that's how most people of that generation know about the Gypsy Rose story.
That's right. And it was a story that also gave us a lot of true crime podcasts and a lot of chatter in the true crime circles. And now today has a new chapter when Gypsy Rose Blanchard walked out of prison at 3:30 a.m., basically in the middle of the night in Missouri, as a free woman after years of abuse at the hands of her mother, as you mentioned, and over 7 years behind bars for plotting to kill her. And Gypsy Rose was just 23 at the time of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard's death. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder, admitting to plotting with her then-boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, to kill her mom in June of 2015. Blanchard suffered from Munchausen by proxy, which is a mental disorder when someone fabricates illnesses or causes injury to someone for sympathy or attention. Gypsy Rose said her mother had convinced everyone she was terminally ill with the mind of a 7-year-old child, suffered from muscular dystrophy, leukemia, and other ailments. Doctors eventually determined she was never ill. And Gypsy Rose told People magazine she is not proud of what she did and she, quote, regrets it every single day. Blanchard's attorney says as part of her parole, Gypsy will be allowed to leave Missouri and live in Louisiana with her husband, Ryan Scott Anderson, whom she married while she was in prison. Her father and stepmother have been helping to set up a new life for her upon her release. Christy Blanchard spoke with Ashley Banfield last week about their plans.
So this is Gypsy Rose's stepmother. I was going to play this whole interview, but now that I see that they're playing a piece of it here, we don't need to do that. But I do suggest, later on, not now, go back and watch the full interview with Gypsy Rose's stepmom. It's a nice interview.
We're going to pretty much follow her lead, see how overwhelming she gets. And it's going to be a big adjustment.
What does she want to do first?
Oh, we're doing a spa day. We booked a spa day. We're going to go get her pedicure, manicure, facial, haircut, colored if she wants. The works, bring her shopping.
And in an interview, she said if she had a chance to redo everything, she would go back to when she was a child and tell her aunts and uncles that she was not sick and would tell them, quote, "Mommy makes me sick," and said her mother was a sick woman and didn't deserve what happened to her. And we're now starting to see, Nicole, some photos. Some of the paparazzi have been able to track her down. So we'll try and bring those to you a little bit later today.
All right, Laura Engel live for us. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
So that was from earlier today. I think Gypsy served her time. She pled guilty. And a lot of people, the last time I did the show, were in the comments saying that Gypsy Rose threw Nicholas Godejohn under the bus. I see it differently. I see that she pled guilty and she testified against him, or she testified in his case, but she admitted on the stand that it was all her idea. She really tried to help him with her testimony. So I suggest that if you think that she threw him under the bus, go back and watch her testimony in that trial. You can find it. I think it's on Court TV or Law and Crime. And during the last stream that I did on Gypsy back in September, I did play some of her testimony. And I think that with her guilty plea and testifying at his trial, she really did try to help him with her testimony. There's just some things that are justifiable homicide, in my opinion. Gypsy was tortured her entire life. Gypsy had a life sentence. She's finally free. She did her time. Yes, Patronus Glow, I agree. She's finally free. She's free for the first time in her life. Hello, Janai. Chelsea, honestly, I think it's a bit of her to say, I don't know, to say her mom shouldn't deserve it after all she did to her. I think she was probably safer in prison than she would have been staying in the house with Dee Dee. That is my opinion. Thank you. Oh, exactly. LB, that's what I'm saying. If Dee Dee was still alive, there's a real chance that Gypsy would be deceased. Yep. Honestly, says her time in prison was peace compared to the horrific life she lived her whole life prior to her mother's demise. I have a question about this too, Missy Minx. How did she meet her husband while she was in jail? Well, I don't know. I know that they have some access to the internet in jail. I know that she met Nicholas Godejohn on some sort of Christian dating website, but that was when she was living with Dee Dee. I don't know how they met. I do know that she's writing a book. She has an Instagram. She's promoting her book on Instagram. And there are some pictures today of Gypsy Rose and her husband. Take a look at this. So here they are getting into his car. That's her husband, Pierre. It says Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This is from the New York Post. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the Missouri woman who convinced her boyfriend to kill her mother after suffering years of medical abuse, was released from prison Thursday. Blanchard, now 32, was seen in a casual blue and white long sleeve top and jeans with her husband, Ryan Anderson, just hours after she sprung from serving a 10-year sentence on second-degree murder conviction in connection with the 2015 stabbing death of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. Gypsy's harrowing childhood inspired the HBO documentary Mommy, Dead, and Dearest and the Hulu scripted series The Act. As a child, she was forced by her mother to pretend she was suffering from leukemia, muscular dystrophy, and a host of other ailments. She was granted parole in September, clearing the way for her early release nearly 3 years ahead of schedule. Here is a current picture of Gypsy from earlier this morning. Here's her husband. I wish somebody would buy him a belt. Yes, I said it. The moon suddenly came out. Karen Pajman, a spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Corrections, confirmed that Gypsy is released overnight in a statement to the Post. I can confirm that Gypsy Blanchard was released from Chillicothe Correctional Center on parole supervision at 3:30 a.m. today. Pojman said the conditions of her parole are not public record. Pojman has not ruled out the possibility that Gypsy might be able to travel out of state while on parole. On Sunday, just days after regaining her freedom, Gypsy and her husband, Ryan Anderson, are expected to attend a Kansas City Chiefs game where she's hoping to run into her idol, Taylor Swift. That'll be interesting. Taylor Swift does tend to do things like that. So I don't know if she's going to agree to host Gypsy Rose in the Travis Kelce box at the Kansas City Chiefs game. This is her husband, Ryan Anderson. And there's Gypsy getting in the car. I do hope the paparazzi leaves them alone so she can start to build some sort of a normal life, if at all possible. Dee Dee Blanchard had Munchausen by proxy syndrome, a psychological disorder in which parents seek sympathy and attention through the exaggerated or made-up illnesses of their children, according to Gypsy's defense attorney. Despite being perfectly healthy, Gypsy was confined by her mother to a wheelchair and forced to use a feeding tube. Here's a picture of Gypsy in prison. She has done some interviews while she was in prison that have not yet been released, to my knowledge. I think they are going to be released soon. Dee Dee presented her daughter to the world as terminally ill and having the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. Through her years-long con, the mother received charitable donations from various organizations, was gifted a free trip to Disney World, and received a home from Habitat for Humanity. Blanchard was able to hoodwink doctors by telling them that Gypsy's medical records had been lost in Hurricane Katrina. If they became suspicious, she would switch doctors and shave her daughter's head to make it look like she was a cancer patient. Here is a picture of Dee Dee and Gypsy back in the day. It says Blanchard, pictured left as a girl, had served less than 8 of her 10 years at sentence for the death of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. This is the Chillicothe Correctional Facility in Missouri where she was being held. Besides the medical abuse, which included an unnecessary surgery to remove her salivary glands, Gypsy testified that her mother also beat her and chained her to a bed. As she became more curious about the outside world after growing up in isolation, Gypsy met Nicholas Godejean on a Christian dating website, and the two became romantically involved. In June 2015, Godejean stabbed Dee Dee to death in her Springfield, Missouri home where Gypsy Rose hid in the bathroom. It's Nicholas Godejean, mugshot. He's serving a life sentence for stabbing Dee Dee to death in 2015. The couple then went on the run but were tracked down and arrested. Godejean told police he killed Dee Dee at Gypsy's request and with a knife provided by her. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison plus 25 years. Gypsy pled guilty in 2016 to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 years. In her testimony at Godejohn's trial, Gypsy admitted to talking to him into killing her mother, saying, "I wanted to be free of her hold on me." Gypsy's account of her life, titled Released, Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, is set for publication next month. I submit to you that that is going to be a very interesting read. What say you, my friends? What say you? Courtney, I hope Gypsy lives her life in whatever way she wants to live it. She's had to live under the control of others her entire life, and she deserves the opportunity to explore what works for her. I agree with you. No, I don't think she ever went to school, Jade. I think she did go to school in prison, actually. I don't think her mother ever sent her to school. I think she was homeschooled. So a lot of problems with this case. And I ask you, because when I was reading that, it sort of reminded me of the, thanks, Ed, of the Frankie case. What if the youngest Frankie boy was able to escape, but in order to escape, he had to take the life of one of his abusers? How would we be feeling about that right now? Would we think that he was justified, or would we want him sent to prison for 25 years? What say you, my friends? Lori, I agree with you. You know, he was on the spectrum. He is on the spectrum. Nicholas Godejohn, I don't know why they couldn't use that as a defense. I think they are. Lori Ward says, I don't think the boyfriend should have had that much time. My God. I think they are trying to appeal his sentence or maybe get a new trial. I don't know, but I think that's too much time because, like I said, what would we think if it was Ruby Frankie's son? And that's the way that he had to escape the torture. And Gypsy Rose was tortured for her entire life. I can't, did they say she was 18 when she finally got out, or 19 or 20? She didn't know how old she was, because when she turned 18, apparently her dad called and Dee Dee got on the phone with the dad and said, don't tell her how old she is today because she thinks she's 14. It's tragic. She got a GED in prison, Kirsten? Good. Good. I hope she's able to. I'm glad that she found love. I'm glad she found a husband and she has someone to care for her. Michelle, we need eyes on all children. Yes. And I like how you capitalize that too, because that's how important that is. Lisa says justified. Miss Scarlett. Hi, Miss Scarlett. Says justified. Janai says justified. Aileen Bernard, I hope she will be in therapy. I would think that it's going to be a lifelong process for her, just like I think it's going to be a lifelong process for the Frankie children. I said that on the stream the other night, and there was a therapist who came in the chat and said, I really disagree that this is going to be a lifelong struggle for them. I'm a therapist, and I know that with good therapy, they can overcome this. I don't know if you ever really overcome torture and abuse like this. I just don't know. I don't think it's always there. Maybe you learn to live with it and distract yourself from it. But yes, from the time she was a baby, Dominique. Yep. I think Abina, I think she did know she could walk after a while because she started telling the relatives, I don't even need this wheelchair. And the mother would make her get into the wheelchair, but she didn't know that she didn't have things like cancer. What kind of doctors were removing her salivary glands? The reason that she was drooling is because of the medications that her mother gave her. She was doping her up on all kinds of stuff. All right, I said I wasn't going to get worked up, and I'm not going to get worked up. So I'm not getting worked up. I'm very happy that Gypsy Rose now has the chance at a somewhat normal life. She did her time. Everyone should leave her alone. That's what I say. If she wants to write a book, let her write a book. She did her time. And she also, and she had all her teeth pulled out. Not pulled out. I think they fell out. Her teeth fell out because of all of the medication that her mother had her on. Maybe some were pulled, but some definitely fell out. Yes, Jade, I think we are all praying for her. We are all praying for her. Will I read her book? I think I will. I think I will read her book. How about you guys? Will you guys read her book? This takes me on to two different tangents. One's about a book and one's about bad moms. I saw this interesting little tidbit the other day about an obituary that a woman wrote for her mother. She hated her mother, and this obituary was published in the paper. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. This is crazy. This is the Sturgis Journal. This is somewhere in Michigan. Let me just do this. Let's go to a different layout. So a scathing obituary was published in a Southwest Michigan newspaper by a woman who did not like her mother. And this was the obituary that was published. And apparently nobody at the newspaper looked at it and they let it run before taking it down. I will read this to you since I know so many of you like to listen to me in your car. This is coming out of Three Rivers, Michigan. A fiery obituary accusing a dead woman and others of a myriad of abuses resulted in the publisher pulling the piece online. Every link to visit the obituary for Linda Lernal Harvey Cullum Smith Stull now leads to an error page. Quote, well, honestly, I wanted to write it for myself because I wanted to clear my name, Gail Harvey Heckman, the obituary author and the woman's daughter, said Thursday in a phone interview with the Sturgis Journal. For 24 years and before that, my mother has had to come up with a reason as to why her daughter isn't in her life that doesn't make her look like a monster. I had to reclaim my name. Heckman said she was disappointed when the obituary was taken offline, but said she and her husband only called the publisher twice. She said she also assumed the paper would have contacted her before running it if there was an issue. Quote, Obit was run in Three Rivers print edition on December 15th. It was submitted through our website and was published without a good look on our part, end quote. Mike Wilcox, publisher of Wilcox newspaper, wrote in an email to the Sturgis Journal, we took it down from the website after complaints about its content poured in. After taking it down, several, mostly the daughter, complaints and phone calls were received admonishing us for doing so. The lengthy obituary announcing the woman's December 12th death in Three Rivers included a list of alleged wrongdoings, including condoning essay against her daughter, Heckman, and lying to her daughter about who her biological father was. Quote, as a mother, Lernal was violent, hateful, and cruel. She physically, mentally, emotionally, verbally, and financially ABUSCD, Gail, end quote. The print obituary reads in part. The obituary explicitly named one alleged abuser, an ex-husband whom the journal did not name. Lernal accused Gail of, quote, trying to steal her husband, end quote, and proceeded to beat her senselessly, the obit reads. Quote, Gail and her family forgive Lernal and hope she has found peace. The obit ends. They also hope to find peace within themselves. Lernal will not be missed by Gail or her family. They all understand the world is a much better place without her. Heckman said writing the obituary was cathartic for her. Quote, I wasn't trying to be hateful. I genuinely don't have any hate. I'm angry. She said, I don't understand. If we don't talk about this, how are we supposed to break the cycle of trauma, especially generational trauma? End quote. Heckman said many people reached out to her with their own stories of abuse. She said it's important for survivors to speak their truths and stop being silent. I'm 54 years old and the internet, piece by piece, people were leaving love, she said, and I could feel my heart, hole in my heart starting to fill. Here is a little snippet of the obituary with all of the pieces sort of clipped out. What say you, people? What say you? I think it's kind of funny that nobody actually read it before they published it, but let's go to the chat for a second. Chelsea, honestly, some people aren't great. Death doesn't make people absolved of what they did. Yeah. Yep. Vicky says, wow. Paul says, I feel her pain. Yeah. I mean, I think that's Debbie Joe. I'd be curious to read the tombstone. I'm not laughing at, the torture that her mother inflicted upon her. I think it's amusing that they actually published this without looking at it, and kind of like, good on her. Jeanette Lawson, no one truly knows what goes on behind closed doors, right? Linda Vergata says, wow. This is interesting, Abina. They say for some girls, not all but some, the first bully is their mother. That is interesting. Pierce says, I can't really blame her. I would think that was very cathartic. Courtney says, good for her, and the newspaper shouldn't have taken it down. Not going to be sued for defamation by a dead person. Truth. Amy, it's important to live your life to make sure people don't say that kind of stuff about you when you aren't around. Yeah, true, right? Let that be a lesson to all of us. Thank you, Lori. I kind of thought it was hilarious, too. I didn't really want to say it until someone else did. But no, I think somebody said, I'd like to see what the tombstone says. I think you meant the tombstone for this woman, right? This woman whose obituary that we just read. Carol, my evil stepmother's 101 years old and still living. Well, hopefully she's not watching this right now. Hopefully she's not watching it. Hello, Cam Miller in Western New York. Hello to Western New York. It's cold up there. Are you getting any snow yet? We haven't had any snow. It's been 52 degrees this entire week down here on Long Island. 52 degrees. I'm sorry, kind of, sort of, in a way. I'm really sorry about that. She says, my mother's still my bully. I'm 48 years old. That's terrible. Hi, Miku. Hope you're feeling better. I 100% stand people outing their ABUSERS in obets. Lita Legalese, hello to you. My dear, when the first bully is your mom, you have problems setting boundaries in life. Yeah, that's a good point, too. People are loving that it slipped through. Susan Cornwall says that. Michelle, what will they say about you when you die? We should all think about this. Yep. We should all think about this. So there's that. And then there's another interesting little tidbit. Has anybody seen the fact that Becky Hill, the court clerk of Colleton County, the one who presided, well, she didn't really preside over it because she's not a judge, but she was involved in the Alex Murdaugh trial. She wrote a book. Alex Murdaugh may get a new trial now because of her alleged jury tampering. Well, she wrote a book while she was still in office. I believe she still is in office. Thank you so much. Thank you about my hair. Thank you. So Becky Hill wrote a book, and turns out she plagiarized it. And it's not getting a whole lot of press right now, but here's what happened. If you don't know about what Becky Hill allegedly did regarding jury tampering, go back and watch the stream I did on that. I'll link it below. Talking to some of the jurors outside the presence of the judge, bringing the egg lady into her office and confronting her with some alleged Facebook posts by her ex-husband that weren't really real. There's a lot of stuff going on there. She went to Moselle, the scene of the crime, with the jury, and she wrote in her book something like, when we got to Moselle, we all knew that he was guilty. We could just feel the guilt. She allegedly said things to the jurors like, Murdaugh's going to get on the stand today. Don't believe his crocodile tears, stuff like that. So she wrote a book, and she co-authored it with a guy who is now kind of throwing her under the bus because it turns out that she plagiarized large parts of this book. So let's just take a look at this, because if this is true, and I'm going to tell you it's true because I've got receipts from her attorney who admits that it's true, Alec Murdaugh is definitely getting a new trial. And here's why. Because Plagiarism is a dishonest act, right? It goes to truth and veracity. If she plagiarized her book, how can a judge or a jury believe anything she says when she denies tampering with the jury? It's a big problem. It's a big problem. And for a woman who wanted to see Alec Murdaugh convicted, she may have single-handedly given him a new trial. And they're claiming that they're going to unpublish this book. Whatever that means. Let's see. So here's an article from Law and Crime. Embattled court clerk from Alex Murdaugh trial faces plagiarism allegations over book about Low Country murder case. Co-author says that he will unpublish. I need that to go away. Or not. A book offering an insider's perspective on the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial is being unceremoniously unpublished by its co-authors in the wake of plagiarism allegations, Law and Crime has learned. Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill admittedly passed off the work of a BBC journalist as her own in at least one section of her book. Her book's title is Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders, according to her co-author, Neil Gordon. Credited as the secondary author of the 238-page text, Gordon made the allegations in a December 26 statement announcing both he and Hill made a difficult decision to unpublish the book and cease sales. The revelation came when the Georgia journalist was reviewing thousands of emails released to the media via open records requests, Gordon said in a press release. In one such email exchange, the British journalist shared a lengthy passage from her forthcoming article about the Palmetto State's longest ever murder trial. That passage, which goes on for some 12 pages, was later reprinted in the book almost verbatim, with seemingly just a few minor edits for purposes of style and convention. One example follows. And then here's a draft of the article, and then here's the preface of the book that Becky Hill allegedly wrote, which she stole directly from this BBC journalist. When I confronted Becky about this, she admitted she plagiarized the passage due to deadline pressures, Gordon said in a statement provided to Law and Crime. As a veteran journalist myself, I cannot excuse her behavior, nor can I condone it. I will remind you that they self-published this book because no publisher would touch it. So I'm kind of curious as to what deadline pressures he's referring to, but I guess he didn't source it either, and he's supposed to be the experienced author, so we'll see how this goes for him. In a follow-up email, a representative for Gordon pointed out that the passage sent to Hill by the BBC journalist was shared inadvertently. Quote, her editor is also named Rebecca, and it was meant for her, the spokesperson said. Hill's previously released emails show the reporter asked her to disregard the draft, but clearly she didn't. After making the discovery, Gordon immediately reached out to the BBC reporter and tried to salvage the book by requesting permission to use the passage. The reporter declined and referred the issue to her employer instead. The spokesperson told Law and Crime. This has blindsided me, Gordon said. Journalism has been my life's work. My credibility and integrity are paramount to everything I do. I can't be associated with anything like plagiarism and will no longer partner with Becky Hill on any projects. I'd like to apologize to our readers and publicly to the BBC and the reporter. Okay. I submit to you that Becky Hill's integrity, credibility, I mean, if they weren't already shot, they're shot now. Alec Murdaugh's getting a new trial. Come for me in the comments. Even I thought he was going to get a new trial before this because even the appearance of impropriety on the clerk's part with regard to what happened with one particular juror, a couple of jurors, and the judge's knowledge of all of that, even the appearance of impropriety there could result in a new trial. This makes it a slam dunk. in my opinion. In my opinion. So who wants to sit through another Murdaugh trial? According to Gordon's representative, there is very little inventory of the book left, and those copies will not be sold. The title is also being removed from online retailers like Amazon. Because the book is self-published, there isn't an issue about clawing back any payments. Gordon's representative said the scandal is, quote, so raw that the co-authors haven't even had a chance to discuss whether refunds are in order. As of Tuesday afternoon, the book was still available for purchase on Amazon. I double-checked and it's all unpublished, Gordon's agent told Law and Crime. What you are seeing on Amazon is likely copies that are Amazon printed and has on hand, or third-party sellers who are selling used copies, and unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. Law and Crime reached out to Hill and the BBC reporter whose draft was allegedly purloined for the preface, but no responses were immediately forthcoming at the time of publication. The plagiarism scandal comes amid a pre-existing scandal for the first-term elected official. Hill faces an investigation into claims she engaged in several instances of jury tampering during Murdaugh's trial. In September, in a bombshell press conference and court filings, attorneys Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin highlighted several alleged instances of jury tampering by a court official during Murdaugh's trial. In that proceeding, he was ultimately convicted of killing his wife, Maggie Murdaugh, with an AR-style rifle, and their youngest son, Paul, or Paw Murdaugh, 22, with a shotgun in the dog kennels at the family's expansive hunting lodge known as Moselle. He was sentenced to life in prison. However, the defense claims that the jury's evaluation was tampered with due to Hill's behind-the-scenes machinations. The motion for a new trial alleged that Hill instructed jurors not to be misled by evidence presented in Mr. Murdaugh's defense, and told jurors to not be fooled by Mr. Murdaugh's testimony in his own defense. Harpootlian and Griffin also claim the clerk worked to remove a seemingly pro-defense juror from the case entirely by elaborately fabricating evidence of that juror engaging in misconduct. And that, you may recall, was the egg lady juror. We discussed that at length in the stream that I did on this motion for a new trial. That juror's removal was a final touch of drama in the proceedings, and there were predictions it would likely come up on appeal. Hill hired two high-profile lawyers on the day after Murdaugh's attorneys accused her. In late November, Hill's son was charged with wiretapping, reportedly related to the ethics complaint filed against his mother for allegedly using her position for financial gain. The clerk herself, in a November court filing, disputed the allegations leveled against her by Murdaugh's defense team. And this is going on and on. Until this week, however, Hill largely took those allegations in stride, and then some. In a public relations effort, redolent of the CW's controversial 2008 advertising campaign for Gossip Girl, Hill used the negative press generated by the jury tampering allegations as a sales pitch for her since shelved book. I'm going to show that to you directly because, my friends, this book is still available on Amazon. It's still there. They didn't pull it. How do I know? Because the second I saw this article, I went on Amazon to buy myself a copy because I thought it was going to be a collector's item and it may actually be worth something soon. But here it is, still up on Amazon. Does Amazon print its own books? So this has not been taken down. It's right here. You can buy it for $20 and it's new. This is the new copy. It's not a used copy. So in the sales pitch for this book, it says here, Becky Hill has been villainized by Alec Murdaugh's attorneys in the press, and they've made very serious allegations of jury tampering against Ms. Hill. Thousands of words in Behind the Doors of Justice are dedicated to the 18 men and women who served on the jury or who were alternates. Read what Becky said that's caused such a stir. Just remember, Just because a lawyer says so, it doesn't mean it is. Well, what about what her lawyer says? Should we believe what her lawyer says? That Amazon listing says it's the #1 book right now in true crime or whatever topic it's in, but let's take a look at a tweet from her attorney, Justin Bamberg. This was tweeted, when was this tweeted? December 26th, day after Christmas. And it reads as follows. Please attribute the following statement to attorneys Justin Bamberg and Will Lewis regarding plagiarism allegations against their client, Colleton County Clerk of Court, Becky Hill. Quote, Becky Hill is deeply remorseful regarding an allegation of plagiarism that has recently surfaced from her new book, Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders. The pressures of developing additional content under tight time deadlines resulted in Ms. Hill taking material written by BBC reporter Holly Heinrich and submitting it to her co-author Neil Gordon as if it were her own words. Ms. Hill accepts full responsibility for this unfortunate lapse in judgment and has personally reached out to Ms. Heinrich to express her sincere apologies. And also asking her, by the way, is it okay if I use your material in my book as long as I credit you in all future publications of this book, which is the #1 seller on Amazon? The self-published book is only available online through Amazon and Audible, and the decision has been made to unpublish the book for the foreseeable future until next steps for the book have been identified. Ms. Hill has great respect for the tireless work journalists do every day and sincerely regrets using Ms. Heinrich's, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name, Heinrich's words as her own. She regrets it. They're unpublishing it. They've stopped the sales, but not really, because it just pulled up the Amazon listing literally 3 minutes ago. What do you say, folks? What do you say? This is a big problem. Go to Twitter for the comments, because the comments are really fun. Can't believe that somebody said she should apply for the presidency at Harvard. Somebody said you should resign, which I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it's a problem. Becky should take a leave of absence. What timelines? It was self-published. A high school student is well aware of how to avoid plagiarism. Yet we are supposed to accept a, quote, oh, whoopsie, it was the pressure, while she holds a position with deadlines and pressures. Somebody else says it's not an allegation if she's admitting to it. I mean, come on. Didn't Buster get kicked out of law school for alleged plagiarism? This whole scenario is ironic, says one of the comments. And what say you? I think that's true. I think that it was alleged that he did actually, Buster, get kicked out of law school for plagiarism. And then even through jailhouse phone calls, Alec was trying to buy his way back in. Crazy. I heard the book is terrible from people that have read it. I do have a copy of it now, but I don't know if I'm going to read it. I just bought it. I thought it might be a collector's item someday. I don't know. Has anyone read it? Anybody in the chat? Have you read it? And what say you about the book? Debbie Joe A says she slipped and that passage just fell into the book. That is very funny, my friend. Very funny. My Twitter handle, I don't really use Twitter, but I think it's mlittleesq is my Twitter handle. But feel free to follow me on Twitter, because I think I have about 116 followers. I never use it because I never really thought that I could say something important enough in 100 and however many characters they allow you that people would care about. I need my own 2-hour show to really say anything meaningful, and you're here for it. So yeah, hey, if you want to follow me on Twitter, be one of the other 116 people. It's not my thing. It is not my thing. Oh, shoot. Where's that other tab that I had open that is now closed? Oh, bummer. I will find it. I think I closed something by accident. Okay. So tell me what you think. Courtney, there's something so freaking hilarious about getting kicked out of law school for plagiarism when the legal profession is all about plagiarism. Just have to wait till after graduation to plagiarize. Yeah, but it's not really plagiarism, Courtney. It's more like forms. We just use forms and then, change the dates, change the names. Everything is kind of a form, and there are legal forms online. But yeah, citing cases, you are plagiarizing because you're just citing the cases. Pierre says, how easy is it to derail a whole trial? Probably easier if you are the clerk of courts. Yeah, I say so. Darth Zara, Kurt did live readings on his streams when the issue first blew up. It is so horrible. Yes, he's the one who said it was horrible. That's who I was thinking of, who said he read it. Laura Christine is here for it. Dominique, she also stole photos. Oh, wow. I don't even have my copy handy. It's all the way over there. If I'm going to play any video, maybe I'll go over and get it and show it to you. But trust me, and when I got it, I opened it today. I just got it today. It was a little musty, like it had been sitting in like a flood or something, maybe at the bottom of a box somewhere. And why are they lying and saying that it's like that they unpublished it when there's clearly copies out there? If there's copies out there, pull them back. Buy them back from Amazon if you have to. But as an attorney, you're an officer of the court, to tweet something like that the day after Christmas, what did I say, the 26th? Today's the 28th. Dude, either take your tweet down or make sure that it's really offline. Call Amazon and make them take it off the website. That's just, you're an officer of the court. That's not a good look. I don't know him. I don't know this attorney, but it's not a good look. She does need a criminal attorney, Mark. I hope that she has one. I'm pretty sure she does. It was musty. It was very musty. It was very, very musty. Like, don't use ChatGPT for your college essays or for your legal briefs. That's another great case. Teenagers know that. Don't use ChatGPT to write your college admissions essays because they will find out and you will not be admitted. Oh, man. It is crazy. She needs Bruce Rivers. Yes, LB. Oh, does anybody know Bruce Rivers? All right, do you guys know Bruce Rivers? Because he's got like 2 million followers or subs on YouTube. He's hilarious. I'm not going to use any of his content right now, but it's called CLR, Criminal Lawyer Reacts, Bruce Rivers. And he's all about self-snitching. And he makes funny videos about defendants confessing to things. And he's hilarious. I mean, this basically is self-snitching right here. I wonder if he's done a video on this yet. Stop self-snitching. I want to buy a stop self-snitching hat. OMG, Dave Base 7783. Her next book will be titled Behind the Bars of Justice. This is like, you can't make this stuff up, you guys. You can't make it up. This woman writes a book. She gets special permission to write a book. I said on my last stream, like, this was the dumbest idea that she could have had, to write a book. Then she starts giving like courthouse press tours, and she starts asking the press to give her special money for location fees and stuff to let them into the courthouse, on Saturdays. Like, she has a whole side gig that is related to her job as an elected official, as clerk of the court of Colleton County. This is embarrassment for the county. Embarrassing. Skoda, funny fact, I used to write papers for people in college. I made quite a bit of money. I bet you did, because they charged a lot of money. I wish I had someone to write my papers in college. But you don't know now. You can't trust them, because what if they're using the ChatGPT? Then you get expelled. It's going to be a whole, the ghostwriters of college papers are out of business now because nobody can trust them. Nobody can trust them. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is funny. She did, Marcy. She did do guided tours of the courthouse. She went on the airplane to New York City with the jurors to be on Good Morning America and the Today Show and whatever morning shows they were on. The clerk of the court. I think this was the first time she was ever on an airplane, if I recall reading that part of her book. Oh, OMG, Ruby. Is there something in the water down there? That county is so crooked. And it's like, she's almost proving the hypothesis. She's proving it that the county is crooked because she's crooked too. Oh my goodness. Mark Blaine. I used to sell seats in Showcase Cinemas through the back door for $2. Did you work at the movie theater? All my friends that worked in the movie theater had the best job. It was always the best place to go hang out with your friends when they worked at the movie theater. No, Marcy, that's true. It's really, really true. It's really true. Robin has mixed feelings about Gypsy Rose. Morally, she took a life. Nevertheless, she was being tortured by her monster mom. I pray she has hope and joy for the rest of her life. Yeah. I mean, she did do her time. So we can't say she didn't do her time. I just think it's tragic from all sides. She turned it into a circus, LB. Yep. Julie, the gall of her. The gall of her. She went right on that airplane. She went on the Today Show. She handed out, if you believe the juror who's coming out, she handed out business cards of media reps to the jury while they were deliberating, told them to dress up on the last day in case they wanted to do some interviews. Nosy Rosie says, stop it. She did those guided tours to binding windows. I'm sure she's got an excuse for that too. It was just a mistake. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. Yeah. Dave trying to get a grip on what her co-author says is trying to handle a blob. Talk about word salad. And you know, this guy gave an interview back, I mean, obviously before this whole scandal broke, gave an interview, like a very serious interview about how he was so proud to be co-authoring this book with Becky Hill, that this was going to be like the best book ever. And it's all about, you know, all the injustices that went on down there in the Low Country. And who's going to write the book about her? Oh, I wonder if that guy's going to write a book about her next. That is interesting. Yep. Thank you, Lion by the Sea. The hubris it must take to do such a thing that she's been doing. I just think, like, I don't even, like, help me understand. Like, this woman wanted him convicted so badly. They've got personal beef, by the way. There was some personal beef in, like, the generations of Murdaughs and her family that go back. And I don't even remember. It may have been gone back to the bootlegging days. Like, I don't remember, but she talks about it in her book. And like I said, I didn't read the book yet, but I had read some passages on the last stream that I did, that there was some generational beef between her family and the Murdaugh family. So I don't really know, Marcy. Don't, I'm sorry. I didn't want you to wet yourself or anything, but this is crazy. I guess Mark did work in the movie theater because he would bring garbage bag sized popcorn to after parties on Saturday night. Oh, all right, so let's do a poll. I'm going to do a poll. Because I used to know how to do that, but let me see if I can figure it out on the oh, but one of my kids just sent it in the family group chat, so I didn't even know that it's already out there. Hold on a second. We might not even have to do it. Oh, it's on TikTok. I can't play it because it's someone else's TikTok. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Taylor Swift will meet Gypsy Rose? Say yes in the chat or no. Yes. Do you think Taylor Swift will meet Gypsy Rose at the Kansas City game on Sunday? I don't know. Taylor's pretty nice. She kind of does do that for people. I don't know that she will, but I think it's interesting. Everybody says no. Everybody's saying there's not one yes in the family. There's not one yes in the family. Sharon says, yeah, publicity. I don't know. She, you know, I don't know. No idea. Mystique's like, no idea. Don't care. You didn't miss anything, Nikki, except that Gypsy Rose has said that she's going to the Kansas City game on Sunday and she wants to meet Taylor Swift. That is word on the street. And people are saying this is the crossover we didn't know we needed between Taylor Swift and Gypsy Rose. Oh, you live in the Low Country, Lindsay Miller. Well, what say you about Becky Hill? Did you vote for her? Camper for Life. I heard Neil, the co-author, is just as, I guess you're trying to say, responsible or guilty as Becky, since he published it at his publishing company. So he should have checked to make sure she didn't plagiarize. Yeah, I know he has that's the thing. He came out, and I read the article. Rewind later if you didn't read it. But it's crazy that he's trying to throw her under the bus now and distance himself from that just about as not a chance. Christy says, yeah, you know what? I don't know what to think. I feel like I should say yes because everyone else is saying no. So, if we were betting on this or putting money into the pot. Yeah, and that's what Michelle says too. The wonderful way Taylor is, I can see her doing it. Who's Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift is the new NFL draw on Sundays. Yeah, it's true. I mean, come for me, but it's true. They're just getting, my teenage girls want to watch football now all of a sudden. Nobody cared about it before. Is Becky still getting paid? She's still employed, as far as I know, as the Colleton County Clerk of Court. And her book is still up there. So, there's that. And while I was, hello, Matt Bond. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for the super chat. I just love doctors and therapists who tell you how you're going to respond to their treatment, even though they have never lived your life for a day. Is that going back to the Gypsy Rose thing? I feel your pain, and I know a lot of my chatters do. Nikki Conway says, off topic, I missed if there was any follow-up about the dates for Uncivil Law. No, we were going to do a dating game show, and I haven't nobody's emailed me to want to participate yet. So I'm still waiting for some participation. Angela Marie, Taylor Swift was the highlight of everyone's Christmas. My 91-year-old grandpa watched for an hour and a half. Angela Marie, on Christmas Eve, since I have so much trauma around the holidays, and I don't want to give my kids trauma around the holidays, it was just me and my 3 teenage girls. And I said, you know what we're doing for Christmas Eve before we go for the big Christmas Day thing? My mom's, we rented the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie, turned off all the lights, put it on the big screen TV, turned it on high, ordered sushi and Chinese food, and we had the best Christmas Eve ever. And it was 3 hours long, and we loved it. And we loved it. It was the best Christmas Eve ever. Taylor Swift was hired by the NFL. I don't know. People think. You want to do matchmaker? Matchmaker, make me a match. Oh, here's something exciting. I've been invited by Mike King of Profiling Evil to come on his show on New Year's Day, Eve. So it's going to be 10 p.m. Eastern. He called me and he said, Melanie, I'd like to invite you to be my guest for choir practice. Would you like to come on New Year's Day, Eve? And I know that he's in a choir, I think, with the church. And I said back, I would love to. Do I have to sing? And he said, well, be prepared. I had no idea. I don't know if I'm going to be singing, but apparently choir practice is a sort of a debriefing thing that is like terminology in the law enforcement world. And guess who else is going to be on the show with me? I'm so excited. I'm fangirling out. Vinnie Politan from Court TV. I have been watching Vinnie Politan for 100 years. And if you look at the thumbnail, I get top billing on that show. I shared it today in my community. I made a post and I said, I couldn't even believe we were on the same show. I thought it was a different show because my picture is bigger. I get top billing and Vinnie Politan is coming on the show too. And so it's so cool. So it'll be me, Mike King, Vinnie Politan, and a special guest who is, he didn't mention. So yes, I know I'm going to fangirl out. I'm going to fangirl out almost as badly as I fangirled out when Mike King was the guest on Duty Ron's show. And I was also on Duty Ron's show. And I was like, oh, Mike King. But now we're friends. So I love how that happens. Paul Young's like, I want to drink a beer with Vinny. He's great. So cool. Thank you. I'm very, very excited. Yes. Nosy Rosie. Let's do it. Let's do the Epstein documents. Here's the thing. There are PR teams working overtime. They've been working all through the holidays. It's going to be very, very interesting. No, Mark, it's not alphabetical. It is not alphabetical, but thanks. It's a great thumbnail that Mike made. I love it. Good. Set your notifications for that one because you want to see it. The best mama bear. You want to see it. Yeah, that is very cool. Yeah, it's Mike King's show. I will be on Profiling Evil as the guest with Vinnie Politan as the other guest, as Melanie Schuyler, Vinnie Blue Eyes. Yes. Well, all right, Debbie Joe. It's impossible. I've been watching him for 100 years since we're all under 30 here. Yes. But Vinnie's an OG, right? I mean, Court TV was a thing back during, I think it was during OJ, and then it went away for a while, and then Court TV came back. So I'll have to do a little research on that in case I want to ask Vinny any questions, but he better not come for me. What he's going to say is, Melanie, I think you are so cool. I want you to co-host a show with me on Court TV. And I'll be like, all right, Vinny, I don't know, man, because, you know, I'm used to having my own 2-hour show. I can't just do this half an hour thing, you know? But I would consider it. I would consider it. Although I think they're in Atlanta, right? Where are their studios? Atlanta? They're not in New York. Is he related to Joey Bag of Donuts? Vinny is one of the best. But I wonder, do you think his name is Politan or Politano? He seems Italian to me. I don't know. Is it a stage name? I don't know. I'm interested in that. I'm interested to know. And as I was interested in that and Becky Hill and all these other crazy things that are happening, I saw something else that really just sort of interested me. So it's also going to interest you. Did anybody ever watch 2.5 Men? Anybody watch 2.5 Men? Do I have any 2.5 Men fans? Do you remember The Next Door Neighbor? Because I was thinking Gypsy Rose, and I was thinking, 2.5 Men was one of the shows that I used to watch that I thought it was a laugh out loud funny kind of show. When it's on, I'll watch it. It's funny. It's Charlie Sheen and that other guy who plays the chiropractor. I forget his name, but it was always funny. And Charlie Sheen had a next door neighbor whose name was Rose, and she was kind of a stalker. And Rose was always like, I think they lived in Malibu on the water in that show. And Rose, who is played by Melanie Lynskey, who is finally getting her glory because she's an amazing, amazing actor. And she was so funny on that show, but she's also now in a show called Yellow Jackets, which is amazing. And she was in another show. I think she's nominated for 2 Emmys this year, one for Yellow Jackets and one for another show that I can't think of, right? The Last of Us, I think, which is a great show that I watched. I think that was also on HBO. I don't want to miscredit anyone, but Melanie Lynskey played Rose, and Rose was the crazy neighbor girl who would always sneak over and come onto the porch, and she was always stalking Charlie Sheen's character because she really loved Charlie Sheen. Well, turns out that Charlie Sheen really does have a crazy neighbor. If any of you saw this, because this was kind of interesting. Charlie Sheen's next door neighbor in Malibu. Her name is Electra Schrock. I'm going to show you a picture of her before we move on to what Electra Schrock did. And she's been charged. So these, again, what she allegedly did. This is Charlie Sheen's neighbor, Electra Schrock. She lives next door to Charlie Sheen in Malibu, which, if you know, you know, Malibu is a very, very expensive place to live. And poor Electra. Apparently, she and Charlie are not getting on very well. And she came to his house and she allegedly attacked him, forced her way into his house, tore his shirt, and tried to choke him. Charlie just cannot get a break. This was from, again, the New York Post, because it's my favorite. Charlie Sheen's neighbor charged with assault after allegedly attacking TV star in his home. Charlie Sheen's neighbor has been charged with a felony assault after allegedly attacking the 2.5 Men star in his home last week. Page 6 can confirm. LA County District Attorney's Office has charged Electra Schrock with 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon or force likely to produce great bodily injury. Per TMZ, who was the first to report the news, the 47-year-old woman is being held on $75,000 bail pending her arraignment. Schrock was arrested on December 20th after she allegedly made her way into Sheen's home by force and began to choke the 58-year-old actor. Police sources told TMZ at the time that Schrock knocked on Sheen's Malibu apartment door. I don't think it's an apartment. I think it's a house. before ripping his shirt and attempting to choke him when he answered. Schrock later returned to her home and was arrested by police. There's Charlie out and about in the Boo, or Malibu. It's unclear what the dispute was about. Police sources also told the outlet that Sheen had issues with Schrock leading up to the alleged attack. So, reportedly, he told law enforcement that she had squirted some sort of a sticky liquid on his car and she dumped trash in front of his door the day before this alleged assault. Here Charlie is again. While Sheen has not publicly commented on the altercation, the Wall Street Star told People last week that he was planning to have a calm and safe Christmas despite the chaos. We don't have 30 relatives flying in. No, it's pretty calm, pretty traditional, very sane, very comfortable. Sheen, who co-parents twins Max and Bob with ex-Brooke Mueller, told the outlet, it's very comfortable. I feel bad for people that have experienced so much stress during the holidays. Here he is again. He doesn't seem to dress up very much, but, I guess that, California is a real casual place. You can, there's no dress codes at restaurants. If Charlie Sheen wants to show up looking like this at Nobu in Malibu, they're letting him in. It's not like New York City where they'd say, come with me to the coat room. I'm giving you a blazer that's 7 sizes too small and a tie that comes up to here on you. Because that's the way it is in New York. But in the Boo, if Charlie wants to go to Nobu, he's getting in. He also shares 2 daughters with ex-wife Denise Richards. And according to another article that I read, he's been sober for some time. Winning. Winning? Yes, winning. He's winning. He is winning. And I saw recently an interview that Denise Richards did with Bethany Frankel of all people on YouTube. Don't go for it now, but go for it later. It was very interesting. I have a whole new respect for Denise Richards. When she married Charlie, she had no idea that he had substance abuse issues. And it was a really, really interesting interview. She has co-parented the twins that are not even her own children with Charlie. They are Brooke Mueller's children with Charlie. And honestly, if you can make me laugh on the stream, you're doing a great job. Charlie's still alive. Thanks. Yeah. Yes. Strona's Glow also winning. He did put her through hell, Melanie Schuyler, but you know what? Are we talking about Denise Richards? She's forgiven him. She's moved past it. Like, she's in a really good place. She has a new husband. She's really, really moved past it. Now, interestingly enough, according to Electra Schrock's LinkedIn profile, she is a development officer at some sort of charity called Miracles for Kids. So I wonder how long they're going to be keeping her at that job after this public information. Which is out there. I didn't, it's out there. I did not out her. It's in all the papers. Her name is out there. She has been charged with felony assault in the assaulting of Charlie Sheen. She also posted something on Nextdoor, which is an app that I absolutely hate, but I had to go there to get the picture. And here's another picture of her. It was a Happy Hanukkah post. And there she is, Electra Schrock from Malibu. Fortunate that I'm curious what this whole fight was about. What was this whole fight about? Why are you going to attack Charlie Sheen? Like, truth is stranger than fiction, right? Happened in the TV show, and now it's happening in real life. It's happening in real life. Charlie Sheen has a nightmare neighbor in real life. Right. Jen and Georgia says, I want to file, see why she did. I do too. I mean, there's a trial we might have to cover. Usually it's Charlie Sheen getting in trouble. Yeah, maybe she just nuts, says LB. Tommy's like, duh, I know why. I mean, a little bit crazy, right? A little bit crazy. You can't make this stuff up. Thanks for subscribing, Gabriel Jimenez. I appreciate you. It's yeah, she looks fun. She looks fun. She's 47 years old. I mean, I don't know why. And since we're on this topic, well, I don't even want to go on this topic. Maybe she's drunk or something. Maybe she's just irrational and drunk, and maybe she didn't like that he left his garbage cans out in the street. Because when I spend time, usually in the summer, I spend summers usually in California, but more in the South Bay, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa, Redondo area. Neighbors do get annoyed if you leave your garbage cans in the street and don't bring them back to your side alley right away. So maybe it was over garbage cans. I don't know. Could be. Very possible in Malibu, right? Yeah, it's interesting. That couldn't happen to a nicer guy, says Missy. And Karate Cat Mom, because he ignored her. Dave says when Charlie goes to the desert, he'll say date of death circa 1992. What's your old stomping grounds? Manhattan Beach, from Hermosa, Redondo? They do. They get really mad if you leave your garbage cans out. Especially because in the South Bay, in Manhattan Beach and Hermosa, Redondo, especially like if you're on the west side of Sepulveda, closer to the water, the houses are very, very close together, like almost on top of each other. And so, your garbage cans could be blocking someone from getting them into their driveway. And it's a beautiful, 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 beautiful place. And it's $4 million for a tear down. I could show you. Oh, I love when we go through Zillow together. That's my favorite. I do have some listings that we could look at together another time. That on the Karen Reed case, I have that listing because the guys who's at the Albert's house where they were having that party where Officer John O'Keefe never went into the house and wound up dead on their front lawn, that they never came out to see the crime scene and they were cops. They sold their house. I have the listing for that house. So that'll be something interesting that we will look at. I also like to search up houses on Long Island that are from the Gilded Age, like from the 1920s, like the old Gold Coast mansions, and take a look and see who lived there. And then I fall into that rabbit hole, call me Alice. I find houses that were owned by like the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, but like the more random Vanderbilts and Rockefellers that nobody really knows about. And then I go into their history, and it's kind of interesting. I'm not seeing anything, Miss Scarlett, but if there's anything there, she says she's being sarcastic because she is of such religion. I don't know who's here. Oh, Princess Mish is here. Black Rose is here. I don't know you guys what they're talking about, but I can't police the chat while I'm in here. So that is what I say. Oh, yeah, Melanie Schuyler, you're talking about the Alberts selling their house and ripping up their basement carpet. And yeah. Yes, the Newport mansions are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Is anybody watching The Gilded Age? Because I would love, hello, ATS News. Yay, you're here. I would love to talk about the Gilded Age. And I love the clothes and the houses and the history and like the real history of what's going on with Bertha selling her daughter off to the Duke. That's a real story. That was Consuelo Vanderbilt that actually happened to. I did a deep dive into that. So, I saw something funny here. Where is it? I lost it, but I forget things. I have early onset Absolutheimer's. So, I think somebody said that they wanted to marry Karen Reed, and if not, then Brian Koberger. So that was interesting. And speaking of Brian Koberger, we're just going to get into this for a quick second, and then I'm going to end this on a funny note. I think it's funny, but I really want to have a serious discussion about something Cameron Diaz said recently, because it's opening up a whole can of worms. But before we do that, 1122 King Road, which is the scene of the Idaho 4 murders of Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, and Ethan Chapin, because it's always about the victims. This case should be about them. Was demolished today, 6:30 a.m. in Moscow, Idaho. I have a video that I'm going to play with no sound of only the demolition of this crime scene. we could just share in a moment of silence for the victims while we watch this video, and then we will discuss.
Yeah. So we also want to know that the house was given to the university earlier this year. Some family members of the victims have asked if they went to the trial.
This video was posted by KTVB, Channel 7, out of Boise. And this was the scene at about 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time this morning. I didn't see any crime scene investigators there sifting through the rubble to see if there's any evidence. Looks like just a whatever kind of big backhoe type heavy duty machine that is doing the demolition. The house was owned by the University of Idaho because the owner of the home, who had been renting it to college students for years, realized after these horrible killings that happened a year ago, November, he was never going to be able to rent that house again. He donated it to the University of Idaho, and it was the University of Idaho's decision to tear it down during Christmas break when there were no students there, in order to, quote, start the healing. But this reminded me of, the visit to Moselle that the jurors did in the Murdaugh case. Whether it would have been helpful. This case is not going to, apparently it's not going to go to trial until next summer. If it even goes next summer, I don't know. But what say you, my friends? What say you? Apparently nobody made an application to the court to try and stop it for a restraining order or a TRO, or, like I say, every time I do this show, follow the money. My friends, follow the money. University of Idaho is the heartbeat, I submit to you, of Moscow, Idaho, and with that as a glaring reminder to new students coming in, I bet their enrollment is down. I bet their applications are down this year. It was my opinion that a jury visit to this house would be important because of the layout of that house. It had a very wonky layout. It was almost like one house on top of another. It was a strange layout. The judge does not always allow jurors to go to the scene of the crime. Perhaps Moselle was a different issue because that was an outdoor crime scene as opposed to an indoor crime scene. There were arguments that the house had been changed a lot on the inside, and so it wouldn't have been in the same location. But what say you? Armand, prosecutors wanted the house demolished for state legal tactical reasons. I would think that the defense would want it up based on certain theories about the case, but I've heard other commentators saying that, this sets up a great incompetent counsel argument, that his attorneys should have made an argument to keep the house, to make a TRO or to file a motion to prevent this from happening, or a restraining order. Right, Laura. The layout was so odd. I suspect an actual walkthrough would be helpful. That's what I would think. Jen says I would think enrollment's down. Courtney says, seems like the University of Idaho just wants to erase the victims and not necessarily start healing. Healing is not about forgetting. It's about learning to live with the pain and loss. That's a great point. 2 of the families came out publicly and said they did not want the house demolished. That was the Kernodle and Gonsalves families. The Chapin family has been very vocal about not even wanting to come to the trial. They want nothing more to do with this case. They have started healing and moving on. I did an excellent show that got hardly any views. It was a tribute to Ethan Chapin. Go back and look for it. It was a great show about how Ethan Chapin, is one of triplets, and his brother and sister, his triplets, go to the University of Idaho still. And his brother is in his same fraternity. And his parents started an Ethan Chapin scholarship. And the first scholarship was given to his brother in the fraternity house. It was televised. I did a stream on it as a tribute to Ethan Chapin. They've also named a variety of tulips after him at a tulip farm. So you can buy Ethan Chapin tulips. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. It's not interesting to people because people want to see the gore. They want to see the blood. They want to see the horror. And this story happened on a day that some other horrible things were happening, and it kind of got overlooked. And I find it really sad, but I don't care. I'm going to keep doing those kind of shows because I think it's important to honor the victims. Dominique says they can't keep the house up forever. And what about his appeals? Do we let it stand for them? No, it doesn't get complicated. They've made 3D renderings of it. Chloe's mom, I, for one, am glad it's gone. There isn't evidentiary value because of it being a party house. To me, the evidentiary value was more if someone was in this bedroom, because remember, there are 2 surviving roommates, right? If someone was here, could they hear what was happening on the 3rd floor? So for those reasons, I think the layout of that house is important. They have 3D renderings they say are going to be good. I would prefer, if I was an attorney on this case, I would prefer that the jury do a site visit, especially if it's going to be up. I mean, especially if the trial is going to happen in the summer. It's only 6 more months, right? Or school's out in May, maybe in Idaho. Putting a park there, I don't think is a great idea. It's Paul Young, attorney, lay out the argument for keeping it. Layout is the argument for keeping it, Melanie. Yeah, I know. Jim Grow, the city wanted it down. I mean, it was the university's decision. Let's face it. Follow the money. Just follow the money. They're paying property taxes on it. They probably didn't want to have a security guard there. There are things called grief tourists, people who come around and want to take pictures there and check it out. Should have been protected. I agree. It would be too creepy to go into that house, even for trial. Yeah. All properties go through student housing insurance. Wise University has a percentage of liability. I don't know. Off-campus housing goes through student housing. I mean, when I was in Boulder and when my kids were in Boulder, Off-campus housing had nothing to do with the university. It was all, individual management companies and landlords. So I don't know. I don't know what goes on at the University of Idaho, so I can't really speak to that. But what I do know, it's a very sad day. It's a very sad day today in Moscow. Yes, green-eyed lady, Ethan smile. Those are the tulips. That's right. Dave coming in with all the nuggets tonight. Let's hope the Idaho court clerk doesn't try to write a book about the trial up there. Yes. Yeah, let's get the likes up, peeps. It's a small stream tonight, but it's okay. Because we're all here and we're having a good time, right? Aren't we having a good time? People visit Dahmer's complex to the site. Yeah, when I was in Boulder recently, we went for a college visit for my twins. We went by the John Benet Ramsey house, and I did a members only when I was in Colorado, and I went by the John Benet Ramsey house, and we looked at the Zillow listing. It's up for sale. So people do it. I do it. But, I don't go out and take pictures in front of it. I kind of drive by slowly and say, hey, kids, there's the John Benet Ramsey house. Marcy said, if I was a jury member, I think I'd want to visit to get a feeling of the space. Oh, you're asking me to make the argument? That is the argument. If this person says they were down here in this bedroom and this person was in this bedroom, would they be able to hear what was going on the third floor kind of thing? If a dog was barking, that kind of thing. Yeah, moving around. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Moving around, ease thereof, sound travel would be reasons for keeping it. Just the point of entry and the path that the person took, the things they had to pass on the way. It's a really wonky layout. It's not a typical house. I don't know. But I do think the layout was the reason. And so that's why I was agreeing with you. But again, the judge doesn't have to grant a site visit. So I don't know. I'll be watching to see what's built there. I'm guessing something to make the university money. I don't know. It still is a sad day, Sandy says, even though I'm personally glad it's gone. We're having a good time. Yeah, Rebecca, that was very, very sad with the demolition of 1122 King Road. And you know what? It's like they almost didn't take the victims' families into consideration at all. So that was sad too. There could have been legal arguments to halt the demolition, but nobody made them. So I don't know. Beautiful Messy Ball says they didn't want to pay for security, but they're moving the debris to an undisclosed location to be sorted and guarded, or to be stored and guarded, where they have to pay for security, so it can't be pilfered. Make it make sense. Yeah. Because people are going to sell off parts of the building to grief tourists and other collectors of macabre items. Yeah, Ivan, I agree with you. I would bet money that house had a dozen building code violations. The entire concept was purely for packing kids in like sardines at exorbitant prices. Yep. I think that you're correct. It's not a small stream because Chloe's mom is here. Yay. Oh, somebody took you to the Tate house when you were young, Laura Christine, the Sharon Tate's house. That is interesting. It's in the Hollywood Hills, right? In the Bird Streets. Is that where it is? People still go to Bundy and Brentwood looking for OJ case clues. Oh, Dave, are you a worn out lawyer too? I'm a recovering lawyer, so those Catholic Church cases just sucked the living soul out of me. And in order to find my namaste, I had to pivot. So I feel you, my friend. I feel you. But remember, you're never too old to dream a new dream. You too can be a legal analyst on YouTube. Courtney says, if I were a juror, a 3D rendering would do nothing for me to get the sense of timing. I'd want to see if I could walk through and take the path of murder in time it was stated that it took. Yes. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, the Cobain house is littered with graffiti and syringes. When I went to, this reminds me of something, because my two oldest children, who are now out of college, I told them that if they would take French in high school and junior high, that I would take them to France when they got older. And I did. And the first thing I did with my son, my oldest son, he's a musician, is go see Jim Morrison's grave, because I was such a Jim Morrison fan. And we have like pictures saying like coolest mom ever. But same thing with Jim Morrison's grave. It's just littered with all kinds of things. I digress. Beautiful messy ball. Also, what if Brian is found not guilty and or it's discovered that he didn't act alone? New defense has no chance to examine the crime scene. That's true. That is true. Yes, I think they both agreed to demolish it. They consented. Nobody filed any application to get a temporary restraining order against it. Subscribing is free on YouTube. Thank you, Patronus Glow, for telling everyone. And look, you guys, I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers, which, is like a really small channel compared to all the other people that you watch. But it's a really big deal for me because I just started this channel at the end of June. So it would be so cool if we could get to 20,000 by the end of the year, which probably is not going to happen because that's only 3 days from now. We can't do that, but we can get closer. We're at 19,000. Oh, you know what? I have this really cool stream deck right here. It's going to tell me. Oh no, it's not telling me anything. It's not working. Why is it not working? Huh. That's weird. All right. I don't know how to work this stream deck thing. So I guess I'm going to have to figure that out another time. Did I kick myself off? No, I'm still here. All right. Well, we're still here. I'm still here. And I have one final story for you because I really, really want your thoughts on this. Cameron Diaz is getting a lot of heat for something she said like the week before Christmas. And I want to know how you feel about this, my friends. Let me pull it up. And let me take this thing down. Does anybody know what I'm about to show you? Did anybody see this yet? I know. Let's change the subject. Oh, after Vinny, I'll skyrocket, maybe. Maybe he's going to want me to co-host a show with him. What do you think? I don't know. I'd have to. We'll see. All right, we're gonna shift. Tommy Bernhard, you have a podcast. I see, but you haven't posted anything in a really long time. I think I was checking your channel out, but I don't think you've done anything in a while, right? YouTube has never got a check for subscribers. Concentrate on views and average watch time. I know, but it's the whole algorithm thing and all that stuff. So we'll see. It is. And you met Cameron Diaz at a restaurant in Palm Springs. I love Palm Springs. Aside from Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Redondo, that's my other favorite place in California. I love Palm Springs. Don't take offense. All right. We're just gonna say that this is that exactly, Marcy. This is Père Lachaise. That is the cemetery that I went to in Paris where Jim Morrison is buried. And there's a lot of other celebrities buried there too. Oh, I'm not talking about Johnny Depp's trial. I don't even know. I forgot that she even testified there. This has nothing to do with that. This is about, I'm going to plagiarize something. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. This is about married people having separate bedrooms. She wants to normalize it. I want to know what you think about it. I'm going to read the article to you, and then we are going to discuss, because that is what we do here. We discuss. Cameron Diaz wants to normalize separate bedrooms. Here's what you need to know about sleep divorce. Cameron Diaz doesn't think love should get in the way of a good night's sleep. We should normalize separate bedrooms, the actress said in an interview on the Lipstick on the Rim podcast this month. Diaz, 51, is married to Benji Madden of the band Good Charlotte. To me, I have my house, you have yours, we have family house in the middle. I will go to sleep in my room, you go to sleep in your room. I'm fine, she said. And we have the bedroom in the middle where we can convene for our relations. That was her on the Jimmy Fallon show in October. She's kind of been off the grid since she married Benji Madden. Diaz isn't alone in liking the idea of a bed or even bedroom to herself, whether it's getting disturbed by snoring, stolen covers during the night, or differing schedules waking you up before your alarm. More people are tuning into sleep divorce, the practice of sleeping separately to avoid sleep troubles because of a partner. According to a survey from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, more than a third of Americans say they occasionally or consistently sleep in another room from their partner. For those looking for a better night's sleep, experts say there can be potential benefits. There are benefits for some partners to sleep separately, says a doctor who's a consultant to some sleep academy. Studies demonstrate that when one bed partner has a sleep disorder, it can negatively affect the other sleeper. For example, bed partners tend to wake up at the same time when one has insomnia. Similarly, when bed partners differ in chronotype, like when one is a night owl and the other is an early bird, these differing sleep preferences can negatively impact both partners' sleep. Dr. Daniel Shade, another sleep specialist, says if couples are honest with themselves, they'll likely know whether there's a problem. You're snoring and you're thrashing about, it disturbs your partner, or you're getting up at 4 a.m. to go to work, or you have to use the bathroom many times in a night, and that can get disruptive, Shade said. Adding that different preferences in light, temperature, or even TV usage at night can also affect sleep. But if there are no sleep problems, Shade said, by all means, sleeping in the same bed is better. We release oxytocin and some other chemicals that are called the cuddling hormones and things that give us a good feeling and bring us closer to that person we're imprinting upon, that we're with, he said. And now I go to the chat. What say you, my friends? What say you? I mean, because we're talking about the Gilded Age, they all have separate bedrooms in their castles, in their giant mansions. They have like separate wings. I mean, I'm kind of thinking it's not a bad idea. I'm going to say it. I'm going to think it's not a bad idea. Wouldn't it be cool if you could be married and have like your own bedroom and like have your own space and your own bathroom? What would be so bad about that? I'm so not offended by this idea. I think that if you have a big enough house and you have extra bedrooms, I mean, not everybody can do that. But yeah, Miss Scarlett, some people get really offended by these ideas. My ex was upset by the idea of separate blankets. Wow, really? Yaya's World, snoring, severe insomnia, and severe chronic pain is a good reason. Lori says, it's always been normal to me. My grandparents had separate rooms. Grandmother read books late into the night, and grandpa was in bed by 8. I have my own bedroom now. I want my own space. Lori Ward, you are starting a movement. You're starting. Nikki's into it too. Separate all the way. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Mark Blaine, Lucy and Ricky had separate beds. They did. Remember, because they were not allowed to show them sleeping in the same bed on TV at the time. When she was pregnant, they had to hide her pregnancy. That was the first pregnancy that was ever allowed on a television show, was when Lucille Ball became pregnant on the I Love Lucy show. Oh, Scott, 34 years, we still sleep together. That is lovely. That is lovely. I'm not currently married, so I'm thinking like if I ever do get married again, which I don't know that I ever will, quite frankly, but if I ever do, like, or even like live with someone, like, I think that's a great idea. If you have the space and you have the ability to have bedrooms and have your own bathroom, wouldn't that be fantastic? Somebody's in Lizzie Borden's house. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back to it. Dick Van Dyke Show had twin beds. Courtney said, I think I'd still be with my ex if we had separate bedrooms or more like a separate wings. I can't live with other people. I get claustrophobic. I also am a night owl. I mean, I stay up until 3 a.m. and I don't like to sleep with the TV on, and I like it to be very cold. And, you know, when you get to a certain age, I think when you get to a certain age, I think you look at it differently. Like if you're in your 20s, maybe, and you're getting married and it's all like sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. And then it's like, oh, we can never be apart. I think the older you get, the more you realize that perhaps it wouldn't be a horrible thing. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Come for me in the comments, people. Colleen, my fiance woke me up 3 times the other night as he struggled with sickness. My 2 kids woke me up at least 5 more times. I can see why that is a torture technique. Yeah. Lack of sleep will make you crazy. Lack of sleep will make you crazy. ATS News says my Nana and Papa had separate bedrooms. Good. Did they? And they were probably they were probably married forever, right? I think that more marriages are broken up by temperature control than by money. You know, like some people like it hot, some people like it cold. And now that cars have like separate air conditioning controls on each side for passenger and driver, I think it makes it easier. But I'm an air conditioning girl all the way. Pierce said, I love this. My grandmother had a dressing room where she slept and they were married forever. Yeah, like give me my full big on walk-in closet, my own separate bathroom, my own space. then we sleep together when we want to, or we, then I just move if somebody's snoring. Like it would just be nice to have like a separate place. I don't know. She's getting bashed in the comments for saying this too. Bashed. Jeanette has a waterbed. Oh, that's hard. I had a waterbed in college, and if somebody's getting out of it, and forget it. You can't stay asleep if somebody's trying to get out of a waterbed. It just is very, very, very difficult. Skoda says, no, Mr. Skoda must deal with me stealing the covers, but I think it should be up to the couple. I think some people are very offended by this idea. It doesn't mean you don't love a person just because you want to have your own space. I think the older you get, the more you realize that it's not an offense. I don't know. What say you, my friends? What say you? Gem Girl says, I would be okay, but hubby would be no way. That's right, Lori Ward. You want Captain Crunch at midnight? Cool Crunch, loud and proud. Peanut butter Captain Crunch. That's my favorite. I'm not afraid to say it. I do. I eat it late at night too. That's my midnight snack or 2 a.m. snack is cereal. Colleen, I loved having my own space and I long for it again. Sandy, no wonder I like it. I'm old. No, I think that like the 20-somethings are offended by this. I think. I don't know if there are any in the chat because I know that my demographic is mostly 35 plus and 45 plus even more. So Pierce says, I think it shows a lot of tolerance for the other person. Missy Mink says, my ex snored and it made me very grouchy in the mornings. I often slept on the couch to get sleep. Yeah. And so wouldn't it be better to have a bedroom with a bed in it instead of having to sleep on the couch? Because I know a lot of people that do that too, that go sleep on the couch if the other person is snoring. And wouldn't it be so much better to have a bed with a really good mattress? Suzuki, I've been with my boyfriend for 13 years now, playing sleep separate beds because I suffer with insomnia, but we do have cuddle nights. That's nice. Laura Christine says, I remember being freaked out when my parents got separate rooms, but now I totally get it. Deb Galloway, my grandparents had separate beds and were married until they died, each at 98 years. Oh, that's so lovely. Don't sleep around Gypsy Rose. Oh, the men are coming in here with the funny comments tonight. My audience used to be 90% women or 92% women, 8% men. The men are coming in. I think we're up to like 14% men now. And always with the jokes, and they're always keeping it clean because they know I don't like the cursey words and the dirty talk. So trying to keep it classy, and I appreciate you guys for doing that for me. Thank you so much. Now everybody wants cereal. Paralegal Mandy wants cereal. I sleep better with Mr. Skoda next to me, but enjoy having the bed to myself when he falls asleep. Sometimes you're not allowed to watch my show when Mr. Skoda's around. I know, you tell me these things. And I have friends too that I'm like, hey, did you watch this show? And they're like, no, I can't because I have to watch it with my husband and he's not around this week. I'm like, you are not allowed to watch a television program by yourself, really? You can't watch your own TV shows? I thought that was so bizarre. Oh, I have to wait for him to watch it. We can't watch it. Can't watch it. I got to wait. Sherilyn's pulling out her Lucky Charms. What a cookie. Have it a cupcake, everyone. All right. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. It is almost midnight here in New York, and we have had a grand time of it all, you guys. Thursday Night Live, I think it was a success. We tried to keep laughing instead of crying for once in the true crime world. So thank you to my moderators for keeping it classy. I know this was a late one tonight, but I couldn't conflict with certain people, so I had to wait. Thank you to my mods for keeping it classy. I see Patronus Glow is still here. I don't even know who else is still here in the moderator world, but I love you, Wendy. I don't know if you're still here. It's late here on the East Coast, and I'm a night owl, so that's why I'm here with you. Thank you for keeping it classy. To my little cupcakes, my channel members, thank you so much for liking me enough to want to subscribe to my channel. You know how much I appreciate you. To my viewers, my replay viewers, thank you so much. Please hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. It's free. And also, if you hit that bell, you'll be notified when I go live sometimes because YouTube has glitches. But, it can't hurt to hit the bell and set it to all notifications because I don't really schedule things a long time in advance, except I can tell you now I will be on Profiling Evil on January 1st, New Year's Day at 10 p.m. Eastern with not only Mike King, the host of that show, but Vinnie Politan from Court TV. And that is very, very, very fun. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight, you guys. You are the best. You keep me from being lonely and you entertain me, and I hope I do the same for you. I'll see you before New Year's, so, I'm coming back at you. Thanks again. And remember, be cool, be kind, be classy. It's not hard. It's really, really not that hard. Peace out, you guys. I'll see you soon. I'm not saying Happy New Year yet because there's a statute of limitations on that. Go watch that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. You'll thank me next time. That's your homework. Good night, everyone.